All right, let's just jump right in. You know, a lot of videos about programming languages, they just get it wrong. They'll tell you a language is easy or fun or that it's trending on social media. But honestly, none of that really matters. What actually matters, especially as we look towards 2026, is what languages are being used in real, live production systems, what companies are actually hiring for, and which skills are amplified by AI instead of being replaced by it.
So that's the big question, right? With all the noise and all the hype out there, what's the right programming language for your career? Because let's be real, there is no single best answer that fits everyone. It's about finding the right tool for the job you want. And look, the stakes here are super high. Your time is the most valuable thing you have. If you just randomly pick a language without a clear strategy, you could end up wasting months of hard work, and that just pushes your career goals further down the road. The choice has to be strategic.
Now, to make that strategic choice, we need some context. The last few years in tech, man, it's been a total roller coaster. Those layoffs back in 2022 and 2023 were tough, especially for junior developers. But the data shows a really strong comeback. Since late 2023, junior dev job listings have shot up by 47%. And with experts predicting a need for 10 million more developers by 2030, the demand is absolutely there.
Okay, keeping all that in mind, let's start building your toolkit. We're going to cover the top 5 languages you should be looking at. But I don't want you to think of this as some simple ranked list. Instead, think of these as different tools for different jobs, where each one can unlock a totally different career path.
Let's kick things off with Python. Now here's the secret to Python's power. It's not that it's the fastest language out there. It's not. Its real power is that it controls everything. It's the language that pulls the strings for AI pipelines. It's the glue that holds different systems together, and it's what powers massive data workflows. It is, without a doubt, the control plane for the entire AI revolution.
And the numbers? They totally back this up. According to the Stack Overflow survey, a whopping 58% of all developers use Python. And it's almost always sitting at number 1 on the TIOBE Index, which tracks popularity. Why? Well, it's all driven by its incredible ecosystem of libraries. We're talking TensorFlow, PyTorch, which makes it the perfect launchpad for beginners and anyone aiming for a career in AI or data science.
And what does that insane demand mean for your wallet? Well, in India, salaries for Python devs are really strong, typically ranging from 13 to over 26 lakhs per year, and sometimes even higher. It's a versatile skill that companies are clearly willing to pay for. All right, next up in our toolkit, TypeScript. The easiest way to think about it is JavaScript, but with superpowers. It has seriously become the default language for building any kind of modern, large-scale app. And it's not just for the front end anymore. Tons of startups are building their entire company, front end, back end, the whole shebang, all with TypeScript.
The growth numbers here are just wild. According to GitHub's own data, it's the most used language on the entire platform. And get this, it saw a 65% year-over-year growth in people contributing to it. When a language that's already this huge is still growing that fast, you know it's not just a trend. It's the industry standard.
And its salary range really tells that story of versatility, spanning from 10 all the way up to 30 lakhs per year. This just shows you the huge number of roles you can land. Everything from a specialized front-end developer to a senior full-stack engineer leading an entire team.
Okay, let's talk about the absolute bedrock of performance. I know, some beginners hear C and C++ and think they're old, but these are the foundational languages that power pretty much everything under the hood, from your computer's operating system and your favorite game engines to the high-speed engines that run AI models. And don't think for a second they're irrelevant. C actually saw 20% growth last year, because there's this huge need for code that's optimized for hardware. For anyone studying computer science, learning C or C++ gives you this deep, fundamental understanding of how a computer actually works. It's the difference between being a car driver and being a mechanic. One knows how to operate the machine, the other truly understands the engine.
Next up, Java. And look, while it might not get all the flashy headlines like some newer languages, Java is the undisputed anchor of the enterprise world. AI hasn't replaced the world's banking systems, right? Or corporate backends or government platforms. All of those massive mission-critical systems run on Java, and they need tons of developers to keep them going.
So forget all the other stats for a second and just focus on this one number. Over 90,000. That's the number of open job listings for Java developers in the US alone. This isn't just a job market. It's a massive, incredibly stable industry.
If you want a secure role at a big, established company, Java is one of the safest bets you can make.
And for our final tool, let's talk about a bit of a long-term bet, Rust. For years now, it's been voted the most admired language by developers. It gives you the raw performance of C++, but with modern safety features built in that prevent a whole class of really dangerous bugs. Now, the job market is still growing, but it's a high-demand, high-reward skill. Companies working on the absolute cutting edge, crypto, systems programming, high-frequency trading, they're all betting big on Rust, and they're paying a premium for it.
Okay, so we've covered the language toolkit, but honestly, this next section is the most important part of this entire discussion, because just picking a language, that's only the first step. Let's dig into what employers are really looking for.
This right here is the key. In 2026, simply knowing the syntax of a programming language, that's not going to be enough to land you a great job. It's just not. The bar has been raised, and companies now expect you to bring a lot more to the table.
Think about it. We live in an age of AI tools that can spit out code snippets in a matter of seconds. So companies aren't looking for people who can just memorize syntax. They're hiring engineers who can solve complex problems, who can design robust systems, and who understand the why behind the code, not just the how.
So what does that actually mean? It means this stuff right here. This is your real foundation. Mastering data structures and algorithms, knowing your way around databases with SQL, using version control like Git like a pro, and having rock-solid debugging and design pattern skills. These skills are universal. They never go out of style.
And if you need proof, just look at SQL. It's the language of databases, and it shows up in over 100,000 developer job listings. It's not flashy, it's not the cool new thing, but man, is it essential. Almost every application you can think of needs to talk to a database. A developer who understands SQL is instantly way more valuable.
All right, so let's put this all together. We've talked about the languages, we've talked about the core skills. What does an actual actionable learning plan look like? Let's turn all this info into a clear strategic roadmap for 2026. Here it is. Step 1. Start with a super versatile base language, like Python or JavaScript/TypeScript. They just open the most doors. Step 2, and please do not skip this, learn SQL right away. You'll immediately be ahead of most other beginners. Step 3, go deep on the core computer science fundamentals. Step 4 is critical. Build real projects, not just copy-paste tutorials. And finally, step 5, specialize. Become the go-to expert in one specific area.
So to wrap it all up, here are the key things you absolutely have to take away from this. First, there's no magic best language. It all comes down to your personal goals. Python and JavaScript are amazing, versatile places to start. But remember, your foundational skills, like SQL and data structures, are what really make you a valuable problem solver. And in 2026, going deep in one area is going to be knowing a little bit about a lot of things every single time. So choose your path and then go deep.
I want to leave you with this one last thought. A programming language, it's just a tool. It's like a hammer or a paintbrush. The real question isn't just which tools should I learn. The much more powerful question to ask yourself is, what problems am I passionate about solving? What do I want to build? The answer to that question will lead you to the right tools and ultimately to a much more exciting and fulfilling career.